Can we get to the fun part now, please?
Soon.
Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Tears.
I'm probably gonna spill this everywhere. Yup. Before I go, let me show you our Christmas cards because we got them in the mail. Eek! They're so cute! So it has the dogs, the ducks, and the house. And so if you sent us a postcard or a letter or a Christmas card or really anything, I've saved all of the addresses, and so you will also be getting a Christmas card. So be on the lookout for that. I'll have them sent out in the next couple of days. I guess it's about time to go check on the mailman. Hey y'all, I wanted to take a quick break to tell you about our permanent outdoor lights by Gove. We had so many people reach out asking us what we went with and which brand we went with, so thank you Gove for sponsoring today's video. We installed our lights during Halloween and it was super easy. And now that it's Christmas, all we have to do is pull out the app and we can change our lights to any of Gove's preset Christmas settings. Gove has hundreds of preset settings, but if you don't like any of those, they even have a DIY section so you can create your own. And they're always adding new options. This year they even added 3 more Christmas ones. This is just a simple way to make any of your holidays a little bit more magical. If you want to spice up your home without the hassle of dragging out lights each year or paying somebody else to do it, Gove is the brand for you. To be the prettiest house in the neighborhood this holiday season, or just to check out any of Gove's awesome products, make sure you check the link in our description. Thank you Gove for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to it. Hi.
I gotta take my headphones out. I don't know if you were talking to me or not.
Oh, I just said hi.
What's up? Well, you said you wanted some character in them, right? Because these are gonna have a lot of it. So as you can see over here, we got all our beams cut, but unfortunately, they weren't as long as I wanted them, and I didn't realize that until after I was already done. Here's our new beams right here. We cut the first ones at about 16 feet, so that would have made it about 13 feet clearance with putting 3 foot of it in the ground. So we really only accounted for putting 2 feet in the ground originally, and we wanted deeper than that. So we cut these to about 17.5 feet. That way we can still get our 14-foot clearance and be able to put at least 3 foot of it in the ground. So last week we showed y'all a termite that was right on the surface of one of these trees, but as you can see, this one is fairly deep from the amount of layers of wood we've taken off. We're just trying to shave off all this softer wood that's on the outside of the beam. It's basically just, you know, the softer wood that is on the most outside part of the tree, and it doesn't get really dense until more wood packs on top of it. So the outer part of the tree is always going to be the softest with hardwood, and that soft wood is what the termites love. So we're just trying to shave as much of it as we can off. That way we're trying to make this piece of wood look unappetizing to them. So it's really important we inspect the tree fully and look at where each bore hole is. That way we can make sure after it's in the ground there's not going to be any termites still living in it that are just going to start eating at it in the springtime.
This one is way easier for me to use.
Then the machete.
Yeah.
We researched a ton of different options for treating our post, and we read all your comments. We talked to a couple different people, and we decided to go with burning it. So we're gonna run up to the store and grab us a much larger torch than the one we have, and we'll tell you why we're gonna burn it once we get up there and start putting it in the ground. Talked about stress relieving cuts a little bit yesterday, so I'll have Summer throw that clip in now. All right, so we were talking about stress wood the other day, or stress in the wood, and I was just cutting this 2x6 right here, and this is a perfect example that I wanted to show y'all. This was completely straight with the rest of the beam when I started to cut it, but as I cut it, the 2x6 just slowly kept moving more and more this way. And if you look at the opposite end right there, it's actually still square with the log.
Yeah, he hasn't moved it yet.
I haven't touched this piece of wood since I cut it. So it's all the stress in the wood from it growing at an angle. Once you start relieving it, it starts to push itself out into the way that it wants to be. So that's why sawing is so difficult whenever you're making big beams like this. Just one cut can completely warp your beam. Also going to be making a stress relieving cut on this beam right now. So it's actually bowed up at the ends a little bit. So we're going to try and take a cut off the top, and hopefully it'll set itself back down. The wood will always pull towards the side with the bark. So we're going to start with lifting this side of the log. That way this side of the log where we're starting our cut is sitting flat, and then we're going to start making our cut. And once we get to about right here where the log's still sitting on the bunk, but it's not sitting on this next bunk, we'll probably stop the saw, take the spacers out, and then see if it starts to level itself back out and we can continue our cut. We're gonna try and take off as little material as possible, so I'm only gonna do about a turn and a half. Made our last stress relieving cut last night and got the beam pretty much as straight as we can get it. It's only off by probably 1/4 of an inch at this point, so we're just gonna go ahead and call it. We can't really try and get it any more perfect than that without risking messing something else up. So now we're just trying to get our final sizing in, so I have one last cut to make, but I just threw my blade, so I guess let's go ahead and change that. These are super dangerous, so you gotta be very careful. Whenever we change our blade, we pretty much always use that opportunity to be able to clean the entire saw, get all the sawdust off of the belts, and clean out the cage right here, then get the track and then all the wheels cleaned off nice. That way we can ensure we're staying smooth and making nice clean cuts the whole time. Replacing the blade is pretty easy whenever we're changing it with the same one that we had on before, or the same size and style. So first we just start by loosening it by turning this T-handle right here. And then we slide the new blade in. Just tighten it back up to where we had it before. Now, typically you would use a torque wrench to be able to set this and have a socket welded onto the end of it, but we haven't done that yet, so we just kind of wing it, unfortunately. Then after it's on and tight, we just spin the whole assembly in the same direction that it would normally spin with the engine, and make sure that everything stays where it's supposed to, the blade doesn't try to move anywhere, and everything is centered. And now we're good to go.
thing that we need to do is burn these posts. But as you can tell, the weather kind of switched on us, and now it's pouring down rain. Well, it was pouring down rain. It's kind of let up for a second, so I ran outside, and then it's going to start really pouring down rain here in a minute. So we obviously cannot burn super wet wood. That would be redundant. It would not work as well. And there would be no point because we can't dig the holes.
All right, so it's the next day. It finally quit raining. Everything is soaked, but there's no more rain in the forecast, so we're gonna get to work. We're about ready to torch these suckers and get them all ready to put in the ground, but we still have a little bit more wood to shave off the top. As you can see, the color differences right here. This light wood is really soft, and then this darker color is actually where the hardwood is at. This stuff right here comes off super, super easy, but then right here, it's so tough, it doesn't want to. So basically, we just wanna get all the softwood off. That way none of the termites are left in there or want to go back for it next year. Been using a machete that we got out of our bespoke box to be able to shave this log down. We've basically been using it like a draw knife. But one of our subscribers, Doug Scott, sent us this awesome draw knife we had in our Amazon wish list, and man, it's a game changer. This thing works amazingly. And also, we don't know who Doug Scott is. So if you are Doug Scott, reach out to us because we want to send you a Christmas card, a thank you note, something. So let us know.
Amazon is incredibly secretive when it comes to their information, which as they should be. However, I like to be able to thank people and reach out and send thank you cards and stuff like that, and they kind of make that hard for me. So Doug Scott, I really want to reach out and talk and conversate. You have been so kind and sent so many positive messages and helped us out a ton. So please reach out.
Man, if this was 200 years ago, I'd probably look like Popeye. I'm telling you, this is a workout. And not only is this going to help protect the wood, but it also gives us a little bit more character, because now we have some nice rounded edges in there. It's not just one big square block.
Can we get to the fun part now, please?
Soon. Now that we got her all nice and sanded, time to start doing some burning.
entire thing?
So it's not really the right way to dry wood, but I'm kind of just drying it a little bit, trying to cook some of the moisture out of it a little bit. Yeah, this tree is actually one of the first trees that we had to cut down on the property because it was blocking the road for our house to get delivered. So this one has been cut down for what, probably a year or 2 years at this point. And so it's already fairly dry, but it has been raining a lot, and so it got pretty wet over here in the rain, so I'm just kind of trying to dry it out a little bit. It's actually working pretty good though. I'm sure you've probably been wondering, how are we going to secure the top post onto these giant posts? And I've been wondering the same thing. So after doing a little research, I think we're going to take it old school for this one, and we're going to do some joinery. I've never actually done joinery, but I've always wanted to. I've always been interested in it and thought it's really cool, but obviously it's a ton of work because you're basically shaping the wood to fit together so you don't have to use screws or anything like that. So it's going to be my first time doing it, but let's give it a shot.
Absolutely not.
That's how they build log cabins.
With a chainsaw, we can't get something a little bit more precise.
Yeah, I can't even get it started.
That's a little better. That's a little better.
She ain't perfect, but she'll do. Okay, I said old school, and while it is old school, obviously I'm not using a chisel because I'd be here all night long. We're using power tools. So here's our finished product. I try to leave it a tiny bit wider at the base than at the top. That way, once we put the beam on, it kind of puts tension on the sides of it and will help hold it on there better. So if it's right, then hopefully we'll have to smack it with the hammer to get them to seat together a little bit. So all we have left to do is do this to that log, and then we need to cut the channels in the beam that's going to go on top. With that one, we probably are going to have to do it with the chainsaw because we can't cut the outsides of the beam at all. It's just going to be kind of like a cup or a bowl inside of the log, if that makes any sense. So we're probably going to have to take the tip of the chainsaw and just kind of carve it out like that.
Here's the other predicament. This is the top piece, so we're gonna have to move all of this to get to this big guy. Y'all, it is 4:37 and it's going to be dark in probably about, I don't know, less than 20 minutes. This sucks. Winter sucks.
Let's go check out this hole.
Oh look, our chariot awaits up there. It is so beautiful outside. The camera does not do it justice. What'd you say?
We're just a little over 2 feet, so we got about 1 more foot to go. So we got about 2 feet dug the other day. We still have about a foot left to go, but the ground is still super soppy, so I think we're gonna wait till the morning and finish her up.
I think that is where we are probably going to leave you. I want to apologize because I know it seems like we've been doing this for several days, and we very much have been doing it for several days. The rain kind of got in our way, but mostly we just wanted to take our time.
Yeah, and also I didn't really intend on having to recut the beams.
Yeah,
so
that kind of took a lot of time too.
Having to get a whole nother tree, move everything, move all the wood that we had already cut, and then get the new tree on the mill, and all that was just a lot of work. So, and while we have milled a lot of boards before, we wanted to make sure we took our time with this one because they're structural beams and we want them to last a long time. So I made sure I took my time doing a lot of research on the best way to cut them and the best way to treat them to last a while. So it was a lot of reading. It took a lot of time, honestly.
So we are going to be finishing it up in the next video that you see, and we'll probably do some more stuff in there.
Yeah, we're literally ready to put them in the ground, so make sure you come back for the next one to see it completed.
It's just going to be dark here in the next few minutes, and so we won't even be able to see to be able to complete this project. So please bear with us. It's not many times that you'll get back-to-back-to-back projects of the same thing over and over and over again, but this just happened to be one of those weeks. I'm excited to finish her up. She's gonna look great, and then we have some more stuff planned in the next couple weeks, so we're pretty excited about it.
So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and